Hi, I wanted to jump on real quick and talk about the new CRISPR treatment that was approved by the FDA on Friday. We've gotten several questions about this, and I thought it might be helpful just to talk about it for a few minutes. This treatment was approved in the United Kingdom just a few weeks ago, and we did expect that it would be approved here in the United States, so this is not a surprise. On the whole, let me say this is a very good treatment, a very good development, and we're excited about it. It is gene editing. It uses the new or relatively new CRISPR technology. And if you'd like to know more about that, you could listen to my talk from this summer's conference or a talk that I gave this summer in Nashville. Both of those are on YouTube, and I will link to those. We also did our podcast in November, covered the genetic editing technologies, and so that would be another place to listen. I'll put links to all of these below. But yes, it does edit genes. They're being very careful with how they do that. That's one of the reasons why it's so expensive. They take cells out of the body. They do the genetic modifications in the lab. That way they're able to check and be sure that there are no off-target edits, that the gene that they want to edit is exactly what is edited and the only thing that is edited. And then those cells are placed back into the body. Again, this is part of what makes it so expensive and also makes it so time-consuming. So people have to spend several weeks in the hospital to receive the treatment. They go through chemotherapy that interrupts their immune system, and so that the cells can be received back into the body. This also requires quite a bit of external support. As I say, they're doing the treatment very carefully, and the results, frankly, are life-changing. If you've read any of the stories, and there have been several of people who received the treatment while it was in the experimental phase, the results are really phenomenal, just truly life-changing, day and night, a second chance at life. Things like this are what people are saying. Long term, they want to be able to move this treatment into the body so that they're not having to take cells out. But for now, that's the way that they're doing it to ensure the utmost in safety. My understanding is that if they are able to move the treatment where it just takes place in the body, that would be significantly less difficult on patients, and the cost would go down as well. But for now, they're doing it this way so that they can maintain the highest levels of safety and simply ensure that everything has gone well. The other kind of downside to this is that the treatment does affect fertility because of the chemotherapy. There are issues of fertility, so my understanding is currently, at least this was true under the experimental phase, the testing phase, that the funds were provided for sperm banking and egg banking. And of course, those raise their own set of ethical questions, particularly egg donation, which is another medical procedure that someone would have to undergo. And then later on, if someone wants to make use of those banked cells, that would almost necessarily involve IVF. And of course, there's a huge amount of issues there ethically. Of course, with sperm banking, artificial insemination would be an option, but with egg banking, of course, IVF is your only option. And even often with sperm banking, my understanding is that it would quite likely involve IVF. And again, a whole host of ethical questions there. And for more on that, you can visit our website. We have several articles that discuss the ethics of IVF, reproductive technologies, sort of broadly speaking. So like many new developments then, this does raise a host of ethical questions and gets into several ethical areas. But on the whole, as I say, I think this is a good treatment and just need to pay attention to some of these issues of cost, of community and family support, external support, and then with the reproductive technologies that might be called upon in some cases.